Hey everybody, it's Teresa. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to make a bracelet today, and I'm going to use some of the beads that I got in my most recent Adornable Elements Beads of the Month Club subscription. This month I got the Miyuki 110 Delica beads. I'll put a link in the corner of this video and in the description box below to the video I did where I opened the package that I got this month and went over everything that came in it, all the different colors of the Delicas, and I also get the Findings and Crystals companion packs, which I really love. I have a coupon code for the Beads of the Month Club. It's Teresa10, and I'll put it on the screen here and in the description box below, along with a link to the page to sign up for the subscription if you're interested. The coupon will save you 10% off the first month of whichever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. So I made this little peyote bracelet here. I just played around with some peyote graph paper and made this little design, and I went ahead and made one because I wanted to be able to work up a word chart that I could give you all, because I find it much easier to make these if you have a word chart to go by rather than just a graph. These are some colors. A couple of these colors I got in previous Adornable Elements Beads of the Month Club subscriptions, and then a couple are some Delica beads I had in my stash. And today I'm going to make one with the colors that I got in my latest package. In here I've got the matte metallic slate. These were all Miyuki 110 Delicas that came in this month's subscription, and this color is the matte metallic slate. This is the matte galvanized silver. This is the light daffodil Ceylon, and this is the gilt-lined white opal. And then in here I have a swivel lobster clasp that came in one of my previous Findings companion packs. And then I have three oval, these are 20 gauge, I think they're 4x6mm oval jump rings that came in the same Findings companion pack that this lobster clasp came in. And then I have an 8mm round jump ring from my stash that I'm going to use for my lobster clasp to clasp onto. I have a little piece of extender chain from my stash and a leaf charm. I have some silver, some hearts just like the one I put on this bracelet in silver, and I cannot find them. I have looked everywhere. They're here somewhere. I'll run up on them again one of these days, but I can't find them. I wanted to put a silver heart on the one I'm doing today, but I just couldn't find them, so I'm going to put this leaf charm on there instead. And then I have these little slide end tubes. They're made for Miyuki 110 Delica beads. These are about, the size is 24mm, so they're about 3/4 of an inch long. I had a lady quite a while back ask if I had a video showing how to use these, and I don't. I've never used these on video before. And I told her I would do one in the future, and it's taken me quite a while to get around to it, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to do that today. I'm going to use them like I used those, some gold ones on this one. I'm going to be using my beading awl because I'm going to have to pry these open a little bit to be able to get them on the end here. And I'll show you that when I get to it, of course. I'm going to have to use my little rubber beading needle, thimble. Little rubber thimble that I use sometimes because I've been doing quite a lot of sewing lately, and my finger is a little bit worse for wear. I have a size 11 beading needle, and I'm going to be using my 6-pound fire line in crystal. I went back and forth about which color to use, whether to use the crystal or the smoke. It doesn't really matter, because in peyote you can't really, the only place you can see the thread is along the edges, so it's really not very, I've got black beads and I've got really light colored beads, so I could have went either way, I guess, but I decided to use the crystal color today. And of course I'll be using my scissors and my thread burner to cut and burn down my fire line, and my pliers to put on my findings when I'm done. I think that's everything. I'll try to find links and put links to everything I'm using that didn't come in the subscription in the description box below. So hold on, I'll get some of this out of the way and I'll be back. Okay, I've got some of my beads out here, and I've been trying to play around with this to figure out how to do this. I want to be zoomed in enough so that y'all can see what I'm doing, but I need to leave enough space at the top of the screen because I want to put text on the screen for each row that I'm doing. I'm going to put the word chart in the description box below, and I would recommend that you maybe copy it out of the word chart in the description box below and paste it into a document or something. That's what I would do, because I would just find that easier to do. But I'll have the first 30 rows of the word chart in the description box below, and then it starts to repeat, and I'll tell you that when I get to that point. But I also wanted to put text on the screen in case you all wanted to do this along with me and you wanted to look at the screen as I was doing it. And I'm trying to I'm having trouble with glare. I don't know why, or with my camera focus, and I don't know, I think it might be the beads. They're really shiny and they might be causing the camera to glare. I don't really know for sure. But I've got my needle threaded. I'm leaving about a 12-inch tail because I'm going to have to put some beads on the end here in order to be able to get that slide in tube on. You can't put it directly on the beadwork. You have to add some extra beads, and of course I'll talk about that when I get there. But when you do, this is even count peyote, and when you do peyote you pick up the first 2 rows at once. I know that's kind of confusing. It confuses me, but that's just how it works. So for rows 1 and 2, it's 2D. My beads here, in the word chart, I've got them labeled A, B, C, and D. And for me, A is the matte metallic slate, B is the matte galvanized silver, C is the light daffodil Ceylon, and D is the gilt lined white opal. And I know it's kind of hard to see these against my bead mat, but hopefully you'll be able to see them. So the first 2 rows are 2D, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3D, 2C, 2B, 2A, 2D, and 1C. So I'm going to say that again in case I messed up. And of course you can look at it on the screen there. It's 2D, 2A, 2B, 2C, 3D, 2C, 2B, 2A, 2D, and 1C. And I think I've decided I probably made too complicated a pattern. I should have made it simpler, but that's not what I did. So now I'm going to do row 3. Row 3, I'm going to add 1D, and I'm going to skip that first bead and go into the next bead. So that sets those 2 beads. I'm going to push my top bead down. That sets the bead that I just added next to the bead I skipped. Now my next bead is going to be 1A. So I'm going to skip the next bead and go into the next bead. So that's how that is. Now the next bead is 1B. I'm going to skip the next bead and go into the next bead. Pull it, make sure it sits next to the bead you skipped. And then the next bead is 1C. I'm going to skip the next bead and go into the next bead. The next bead is 1D. I'm skip the next bead, go into the next bead. Next bead is 1A. Skip the next bead, go into the next bead. Next bead is 1D. Skip the next bead, go into the next bead. If you pull out of your hand like I just did, make sure you're on the right side. You can, you don't want to flip it over and have the wrong beads on the wrong side. You want to make sure you've got the right color beads on the right side. And then the next bead is 1C. Skip the next bead and go into the next bead. And then the next bead is 1B. Skip the next bead, go into the next bead. I'll push my stop bead down here to tighten everything up. And then the last bead in row 3 is 1A. Skip the next bead and go into that last bead there. That's row 3. Okay, now row 4 is 1A. Now I'm going down, so I'm going to just put a bead in between all the sticking out beads. So I'm going to go into that next sticking out bead there. Then 1B. Go into the next sticking out bead. Then 1C. Go into the next sticking out bead. Then 1D, go into the next sticking out bead. Then 2A, so 1A, and then another A. Then 1D, this is a lot easier when you get more to hold on to. And then 1C, and then 1B, and then 1A. So that's row 4. Okay, so row 5 is 1A. Now I'm going to go up and just going into all the sticking out beads, and on either end when you start your first bead you want to hold your finger over it, because if you don't, if you just put it in there, a lot of times the beads you just put in will come loose. It does it more when as the farther you get along, it does that more. So I just always hold my finger over the end there when I put in the first bead on either end. That's 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1A, 1B, 1A, 1D, 1C, 1B. That's row 5. Now row 6 is 1B. I'm going to hold my finger over it so that bead doesn't come loose. 1C, 1 pulled the whole thing out of my hand that time. So 1B and 1C, 1D, 1A, 2B, so 1B, and then another B, 1A, 1D, 1C, 1B. So that's row 6, and that's what I've got so far. Now I'm going to do the rest of it. I'm going to do like 3 rows at a time. I'm going to put 3 rows of text at the top of the screen and do 3 rows at a time. But I'm going to speed up the video and not talk and just play a little music or something, because if I tried to do all 30 rows with you all, it'll take me a good probably 35, 40, 45 minutes to get the rest of the 30 rows done. And I mean, all I'm doing is following the pattern. So I'm just going to put the rows at the top of the page and do it and speed up the video. And it'll probably take me, I don't know, 8 or 10 minutes or something doing it that way rather than 35 or 45 minutes. So I'm going to do that. Of course, if you want to you know, pause the video and write down the text that's at the top of the screen, or like I said, you can just copy and paste the word chart out of the description box below and put it into a document or something and do it that way. But I'm gonna speed up the video, and for those of you who don't want to watch 8 or 10 minutes of me speed beading, I'll try to figure out what the timestamp is and put that in the description box below, so you can just go up to the next part after I get the 30 rows done. So I'm going to do that, and when I get the 30th row done, I'll be back. Okay, that's my 30th row. So now you just go back and do rows 3 through 30 over and over again until you get the length that you want. Like I said, I've got the word chart in the description box below if you want to refer to it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it to the length that I want, and then when I come back we'll do the end parts. So I'll be back. Okay, I've got the length that I want now, and I already put one of my ends on this end, and now I'm going to do this other end. But before I put my little slide tube on here, I've got to add some beads to these up beads, the beads that are sticking up, because it won't go on here like this. I'm going to have to square stitch some beads on top of my up beads. And my end tube is, my piece is a little bit wider than my end tube, but it's just right if I take off. It's just the right size to go over the beads -2, like that. So because I want it centered, I'm going to put it over, I'm going to leave off each bead on the end and put it over the beads in the center there. So I'm going to square stitch some beads on top of these beads, except for the first one and the last one. And I want my needle to be, this is the first bead that I'm going to square stitch onto, and I want my needle to be going that way toward the body of the bracelet, not out toward the outside of the bracelet. So I'm coming out of this white bead on the end here. I'm going to go up all 4 of these black beads. Like that. And now I'm just going to square stitch a black bead on top of this black bead. So I'm going to pick up a black bead. I'm coming out of the left side of this black bead. I'm going to go into the right side of it. And make my bead sit up there like it's supposed to. And now I'm going to reinforce that, so I'm going to go back through this bead I just added on, back into the bead I attached it to, and I'm going to go down into this bead and under it there. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Now I'm going to go into this bead because I want to square stitch a bead onto it. So I'm going to pick up one of those color beads. It doesn't really matter what colors you put on here because all these beads I'm adding on now are going to be covered by my slide tube, but I'm just doing the same color beads. So I'm coming out of this side of this bead. I'm going to go into the other side of it. Make it sit up there like it's supposed to. Now I'm going to reinforce. I'm going to go back into this bead that I just added, and then into the bead I started in, and then I'm going to go down into that bead and under it there. And you just have to be careful here because your thread will want to get caught around the beads you just put on. I was lucky that time it didn't, but most of the time it does. Now I'm going to go into this bead here. I'm going to pick up one of that color bead, and I'm going to coming out of this side of it, I'm going to go on the other side, and that one set up there like it was supposed to. So now I'm going to reinforce. I'm going to go back into the bead I just added on, And I'm going to go back into the bead I started in and down into the one on the diagonal there. Make that sit around there like it's supposed to. It tried to get a little wonky on me there. Now I'm going to go into the next bead, the next up bead, pick up one of those, coming out of this side of it, I'm going to go on the other side of it. Now I'm going to go back into it to reinforce, back into the one I started in and down into the one on the diagonal. You see, it tried to get caught that time. And now I'm going to go into this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that on the next four. I'm not going to do it on the one on the very end. I'm going to go ahead and square stitch beads on these other four. And when I get that done, I'll be back. Okay, I've got all my beads added on the top here of all of them except the one on the end and each end. And I've seen people before go ahead and put the slide tube on the beads just like this, but that just never works out for me when I try to do that. I end up pulling my beads off. They don't stay. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. It doesn't work out for me. So instead, I'm going to add some beads between all these beads because it just gives me a little bit more structure and helps me put the tube on better. So I'm coming out of this white bead here that I square stitched my last bead onto. I'm going to go down these other two. I need to turn my thread around, so I'm going to go down these other two beads here on the diagonal. Make sure not to get caught around anything. Now I want to be coming back out this white bead going that way. So I'm going to go up these three of these black beads here on the diagonal. Then I'm going to go into this white bead here. And then I'm going to go up into this white bead on the top of it. And now I'm going to put beads between all these beads that I just put on here. And it doesn't really matter. I guess I'll put the color bead that it's going to be on top of, like that's a black one down in there, so I'll put a black one here, but it doesn't really matter because like I said, these beads are going to be covered up by the end tube that I put on. So I'm just going to put these beads in between all these beads. I guess I'm putting the color that I'm going into on here. Just until I get all the way across here. And that's my last one. Now I want to turn around and reinforce this, go back through it one more time. So I need to turn my thread back around. So I'm going to go down into this black bead. And let's see, down into this bead under the black bead. I want to be coming out with my needle going that way, so I can go back through all of them. So I'm going to go on up into this black bead here. And go down these two white beads. I'm going to flip this over now. And let's see. I'm going to go up two of these black beads. It doesn't matter how you do this, just so you get to where you need to be. I'm going to go up two of these black beads. And I'm going to go over here and go up this bead here next to it. And into this bead on the diagonal. And I'm going to go into this black bead next to it. And now I can go up here into this bead, and I'm going to go all the way across through all those beads. Just make sure not to miss any of them. Just make sure your needle's through all of them. And now I'm going to go down into this bead and down into my bracelet. And now I'm going to end off my thread. I'm going to go down through here and tie, or not tie any half-hitch knots. I'm just going to sew my thread in by going back and forth through the beads and crossing my thread. Like here, I'm going to go up this bead next to the one I'm coming out of, and then go back into that one I started in, just crisscrossing my thread. And I'm going to do that several times down through here and end off my I hope I've not been glaring, end off my thread, and then when I'm done I'll come back and we'll put the tube on. So I'll be back. Okay, I got my little strip of beads on the end done here, and I got my thread sewed in. So now I'm going to put my end tube on here, and it won't go on here unless I pry it open a little bit. It's of course hollow through there, and it's got a little slit here along there. I don't know if you can see that. It's got, yeah, a little slit there. I'm just going to take my beading awl and I'm going to put it in one side, and I'm going to push it until it opens it just a little bit there on the end. And then I'm going to do that on this other end. Just open it just a little bit, not much. Like that, so that's opened up a little bit more on each end. And now I'm just going to slide it across these beads here. Sometimes you might have to wiggle a little. There we go. Oh no, wait, I forgot. I've got to close one of my ends first. I'm going to take this little flap here and take my pliers and close it. Just bend it over there. And then to close it the rest of the way, I take one end of my pliers and put it in here, and the other end up here, and just to have that to brace against, and close it the rest of the way. Like that. Now I'm going to slide it on here. And then now I'm just going to close the other end just like I did that first end. Just take my pliers and fold it over. And then I'm going to put my pliers through the loop there and brace against it and close that in the rest of the way. Trying to get it closed completely. Okay, so now that's on there and it's not going to come off. It's on there good. So now I'm just going to put my clasp on the rest of my findings on here. So I've got this oval jump ring. I'm going to open it up. And my lobster clasp, I'm going to put it on one end of my bracelet. Close it back up really well. And now I'm going to take another oval jump ring. Put it on this side. And I'm going to take my 8mm jump ring and attach it to that. And close it up. And the reason I didn't attach my 8mm jump ring directly to the tube is because I want my 8mm jump ring to lay flat like that. If I attached it directly to the tube, it would be standing up like that, and I want it to be flat like that. So now I'm going to take, I've got about 1 inch of extender chain here. I'm going to open my 8mm jump ring. And add my extender chain. Close it up really well. And then now I'm going to take another oval jump ring. And open it up. And put my little leaf charm on here. And close it back up really well. So, I'm all done now. I can zoom back out again with my bracelet. See if I can put it together here. So that's what it looks like. It's not a hard bracelet to make. It does take quite some time, but it's not a hard bracelet to make at all. So hold on, I'll get both my bracelets laid out here so we can see both of them, and I'll be back. Okay, there are both of my bracelets. This one made entirely with beads from my latest package that I got from the Beads of the Month Club, and this one, a couple of the colors were from previous Beads of the Month Clubs, and then a couple of colors were from my stash. These bracelets are not hard to make at all. They just take quite a bit of time, like I said. And like I said, if you're not subscribed to any of the Beads of the Month Clubs and you decide you want to be, that coupon will save you 10% off the first month of whichever club or clubs you decide to sign up for. And if you sign up for the Rotating Beads of the Month Club, which is the one that I get, and you use my code, they'll put you on the same rotation that I'm on, which means you'll get the same collection of beads that I do every month. I hope you all have enjoyed this video. As always, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate those of you who have subscribed to my channel and watched my videos and liked and commented on my videos. I have a website where I sell my jewelry and also some grab bags of extra beads that I have. It's Teresa's Handmade Jewelry, and I'll put a link to it in the description box below in case you're interested, along with a link to my Facebook, Instagram, and my email. If you haven't, I'd really love it if you'd subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. So until next time, I hope y'all have a great day. Take care.